The average private music teacher needs about 25 students a week just to make a decent living. Most never get there, and the ones who do often burn out trying. I'll show you the mistake a lot of teachers make with the way they charge, what good money from teaching actually looks like, and what to do instead. To start, let me show you the trap most teachers don't even know they're in. How many music teachers do you know who are actually earning good money? Like, seriously, think about it. Because most of the ones I know who are fully booked, teaching like 5 days a week, they're still kind of skint at the end of the month. And the mad thing is that nobody questions it, right? That's just kind of how teaching music works. It doesn't pay that well, there's cancellations, there's a lot of running around, and that's just the deal, right? When I first moved to London, I was teaching at an after-school music program just 1 day a week. I was making about $500 or $600 a month for a job I'd spent years training for, right? Teaching kids who didn't want to be there, following someone else's syllabus, and no real say in anything. Then COVID hit and I lost the job completely, right? No warning, I had no backup plan, it was just gone. And that's what forced me to figure out a different way. So I moved everything online and I built a coaching program from scratch. And what I found on the other side of that completely changed how I thought about teaching music. But if any of this sounds familiar, like the low pay, lack of control, and the kind of income that never quite adds up, it's not because you're bad at teaching. It's because the model was never going to pay you well. So why does this keep happening? Why can someone be a genuinely talented, dedicated teacher and still barely make ends meet? It's got nothing to do with how good you are. It's the way hourly teaching works. Let's say you charge $40 or $50 or even $80 an hour, right? A student books it in, you teach them, they pay you. It's simple enough, right? But there is a ceiling and you hit that ceiling pretty fast. There are only so many hours you can teach before you're burnt out. And even when you're fully booked, with cancellations and no-shows and the gaps in there, it doesn't add up to much. And that's before you factor in the prep and, chasing things up and the administration side of things. None of that gets paid, right? But the bigger problem is this. Every week you kind of start from zero, right? So if no students are coming this week, that means you have no income, right? If they're pay as you go. So you have to show up for every single lesson or the money stops. And the bit nobody really warns you about is most music teachers don't realize any of this until they're pretty deep in it. Because teaching feels like the sensible option. It's like the stable one, right? Gigging is a bit more unpredictable. The industry is pretty brutal, obviously. But at least with teaching, you've got a skill people will always pay for, or at least that's the logic. And it makes sense until you start actually doing it. Then, music schools, they're like taking half the rate. Obviously, private students, they'll cancel. Your income can swing wildly from one month to the next. And then you realize that teaching hasn't actually solved the problem. It's just a different version of the same problem. And there's something a bit more deflating about it when it's teaching specifically, because with gigging, you kind of expect the uncertainty. It's like part of the deal, but teaching's supposed to be the reliable one, the thing that keeps the lights on. So when it doesn't, it can knock your confidence and you start wondering if the problem is you. Maybe you're not charging enough. Maybe you need more students. Maybe you just need to work harder. So you do, you take on more students, you try and fill every gap you can, and you end up busier than ever and still not earning what you should be. That's usually the point where teachers either burn out or they quit or they start wondering if there's a better way. And if you're watching this, I'm guessing you're in that second group. So the question is, can you actually make good money teaching music online? And the answer is yes, but not the way most people are doing it. And here's a little bit of the maths, right? The average private music teacher will charge somewhere between $40 and $80 an hour to make a decent living. At that rate, you're looking at 20 or 30 students a week. That's 20 to 30 lessons to prep for, 20 to 30 people to chase when they cancel, 20 to 30 students who can drop out at any moment. And even then, you're probably still not earning what you should be for the amount of work you're doing. Now flip it. Let's say you charge $300 or $500 a month, right? 10 students, that's $3,000, $5,000 a month from 10 people instead of 30. Or even better, you charge a higher ticket package, right? $1,000, $2,000 for a coaching package. Now you only need 2, 3, 4, 5 students a month to make that same number. And another thing that changes is you're not scrambling each week to like fill the gaps, right? You're not losing half of your income because maybe one person has to move their lesson or whatever. You know what's coming in next month because your students are committed and not just dropping in and out when it kind of suits them. It's similar money or even more, but a completely different amount of stress. And here's something nobody really says out loud. Music teachers are some of the most dedicated, skilled people I know. You've spent years, probably most of your life, getting good at something that's genuinely difficult, and then you spend your days passing that on to other people. That's not a fallback career. That's not something just anyone can do. And yet somehow the default is to undercharge, to overwork, and to feel maybe a little bit embarrassed that it's still not adding up at the end of the month. Music teachers don't have to struggle. The struggle comes from doing things the way they've always been done, which is hourly lessons. They pay as you go, hope for the best. Nobody sat you down and told you there was another way, so everybody just did what everybody else did. But that's how it's always been done isn't a good enough reason to keep doing it. You want to do work you're good at, get paid properly for it, and not have your income fall apart every time a student cancels. It's not too much to ask. The teachers who get there aren't necessarily more talented than you. They're not working harder than you. They just stop doing it the old way. If this has resonated with you and you want to know actually what to do about it, what to charge, how to structure it, how to stop selling your time, I've got a video that walks through exactly that. I'll link it here. Go and check that out.